And we're live. Cool. Let's see here. And Celestial Caboose, hello. And Andre, hello. Welcome back to Ragtimer's Folly, aka Moore Garden Railroad construction. So let's see here. So we're back doing more of the same. We are going to spend probably about an hour today working on the Roundhouse project. I do have some other stuff I have to do, so there won't be any other live streams today that I can think of. Obviously subject to change, but today we are constructing more of the Roundhouse. So we are still doing what we're usually doing, which in this case is going to be putting siding on the west wall of the Roundhouse. Everything's already painted. Now it's just gluing and attaching. So that's going smoothly here so far. Everything seems to be going the way it should. So I'm thankful for that. Obviously, you can see the siding in front of me here, but so far it appears that everything's going okay. So we're approaching our next window. We'll get to there in a little bit. Eric Brinker, hello. Garrett Chase, I did have a better day than yesterday because now it's not raining anymore. And, you know, we're off and running. Let's see here. Got to get the next board more or less lined up. My notches are in. And I'm making sure to keep all of my scrap wood in one place because I may be able to use that here underneath or on top of the windows as we get closer. So we'll see what we got as we go for it. So, okay. Yep, that looks good. Time to glue. Unfortunately, it's going to be very repetitive again, just because that's kind of how it has to be with this process. But, you know, again, it's doing what I want it to, which is actually assembling the damn thing. And that looks good. Okay. So that one's down. Got a few more before we're at our next place again, but we'll go from there. Okay. Let's see here. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions about what I'm doing, the Roundhouse, where we're at with project. I mean, there hasn't been too much updates. I haven't been able to build the wall just because I have been more or less focused on trying to get this stuff done. But, again, this is taking up my garage. So if I can get it through and out of the garage, you know, then we'll go from there. And Jonathan Coleman, hello. Good to have you here. And Captain Crutch, hello. Good to have you here for more model railroad construction. Or destruction? I don't know. Depends on how you look at it. Okay. When am I going to be playing the cabbage game again? I am not sure. I haven't really had the motivation to do it. And on Friday, I will be going out of town because I have a musical gig down in North Carolina. So I can tell you for certain we will not be playing cabbage on Friday. So. Okay. If people want to see that sort of stuff, we can definitely do that. But, we'll see. Okay, let's see here. A couple more boards to go for this part. And, yeah. Oh, that was like half my scrap wood. And Captain Crutch has returned from the city of Hagerstown discussing donating their Western Maryland steam engine to the Western Maryland Scenic. Cool. I mean, I have no opinion on that matter, because on one hand, if the city will take care of the locomotive in a park, then great, let them keep it and do. But, Western Maryland also has 2 locomotives, one of which they have running. The other, God knows if and when that'll come back in the service. So we'll see. It'll be cool to have a Western Maryland engine running on a Western Maryland track, but, there's also something to be said that not every engine can be put back into service. And Random Red Rail Fan, yes, it is F-scale time once again with all this. So make sure this is roughly where I need. And the answer is yes. Is that a Dexter's Lab shirt? No, it is a Disney shirt. So I had the Disney spirit in me today, so has a bunch of stuff on there from like Mickey Mouse and that sort of thing. Oh, shit. Okay, let's make sure that that's lined up at the bottom. Well, that's interesting to hear, Captain Crutch. So who knows what they'll do with it? I mean, hopefully it ends up in whatever case in a good place. So we'll see. Okay, let's see. Let's go for another. Looks like I might be able to put one more or a couple of scraps in there to fill before the next window. But we'll see how that do. Okay, scrap there, cut there. Okay. I'm hoping this blade's still sharp. It looks sharp, but I definitely am going slow because I'd rather not rush this. Could I afford to probably put a whole day in on this? Probably. But between working a full-time job, having other stuff, we'll see. Okay, let's see. How long does it take the glue to set? I mean, wood glue, this glue specifically, I'm using Titebond 3, says it takes about 30 minutes for the glue to set, but if you want it to have any tensile strength, about a day, 24 hours worth to set. So I'm not going, again, at a super fast pace, but I'm just kind of going at a pace that's comfortable. Exactly. It's harder to fix later if I mess it up now. So I think I'm going to have to use some scrap wood here. Because I can put... Is that going to fit, or is that pretty close? Well, it's definitely going to be what I need to do. Let's see here. The question is, how do I want to do this? Do I want to put it... There is a bit of a gap, but I think if I shave this piece down, you know, I think it'll work. So... I mean, it might fit. Honestly, if I just trim a little bit, or if I file it down right next to where it hits the thing, which is about here. That might be all I need to do. And I could always come through and repaint some stuff if it does get messy. Still a little more there. Let's see. Okay. So if I have that sitting there, it still needs just a hair more, it looks like. Right about there. What kit is this? This is a Banta Model Works F-scale roundhouse kit a la Sargent's Colorado. So this is not an endorsement. This is not a paid thing. This is just, I have bought the kit and now I am assembling said kit. And let's see. And you schmucks are watching me build it. Not schmucks, but... Okay. Again, it just needs a little bit more. About, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that seems to fit. And that actually doesn't have too much wiggle room. So that will work fine. Alrighty. So there's a picture of the finished kit. Let me pull up the picture here since we got a moment on the back of this. So we're building this. This is what this is going to turn into. So we're working on one of the outer walls right now, and we'll see how long it takes us to build. But I figure if I'm spending the time to build it, you guys might want to spend some time kind of coming along for the ride. Okay, so let's get that cut there, that cut there. What exactly am I going to run on my layout? Well, right now, because of finances, I'm on a hold of buying any equipment. I have a F-scale live steam engine, a 260 Mogul, that is sort of like an oil-fired variant. It's it just looks like it's an oil burner. So that's the main engine, but then I have AccuCraft Galloping Goose number 5. I also have a Bachmann K27 number 463 with Flying Grand. And then I have a White Pass 73. It's the Aster model, the Aster LGB model that came out a number of years ago. It's one of those limited edition things, and I love it. I love that engine so much. And then I have a couple of DL 535s from the White Pass. So all in all, running primarily White Pass and Rio Grande. Even though I work for the Broad Top, you will not see Broad Top represented on my layout unless someone brings stuff over. So, okay, let's go ahead, put the this. So kind of a mixture of both live steam and non-live steam. Obviously, I'm building this with the idea of the live steam that'll run on it is all American 3-foot narrow gauge. So you will not see a big boy. You will not see, you know, the T1 or anything like that running on it. I might get, just that way it lines up. Do I still have those hooky things? Probably do. Let me go find it. Oh, the bag's right here. So there will be a slight gap in that wood, but at least it'll be held to where it needs to go. So, and then for these scraps, do I have anything long enough for this area? And the answer is no. No, I do not. Yeah, because the ones I have are all. That'll work. Which stall is mine, Flanagan? It's the one of that you claim. So that there. And then Captain Crutchable, will there be proposed 2882 scraps? No. We're only going to go with realistic. We're not going with fake stuff really on this railroad. Okay, where's those little notches? I think that's it. Flanagan will live in the far left stall because I said it. Okay, let's get a little bit of extra glue off there. You heard me, Flanagan. Deal with it. Okay. Okay. No, I'm not going to put anything that goes from the basement inside. As fun as that would be, not practical for where I am. Loud ass card. Ass card. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I keep dropping this one piece. Hey, look, it's the guy who did track work today. Hey, track work guy, how'd track work go? Is it done yet? Yes, Captain Crutch, stupid trains. At least it's not boats, yes. Thank God this is not a boat project. Unless it floods, then it might end up being a boat project no matter what. Okay. Yeah, we passed you guys doing track work earlier, so just curious what you all got done. Trying to see if there's any weight that I can put on this one board because it's not wanting to stay down. But I don't need a huge weight. I just need something small. I don't really have anything that fits that bill. Yeah, exactly. It's a bad day when the Roundhouse starts floating down the river. Speaking of the river, anyone else follow any of the Disney news going on right now? Apparently, they just closed down the Rivers of America down in Walt Disney World, and I am sad as a result of that. I definitely, if you can't tell, I'm getting the Disney itch again. Probably need to go see a doctor. But, you know, considering trying to go down to there again at some point, maybe I'll take like a day trip if I can afford to. But that'll be a bit before I can do that because I've got a few things going on in the meanwhile. Yeah, it's a bad day when the Roundhouse goes floating down the stream. Yeah, Captain Crutch, I'm more bummed by Muppet Vision as well. But, you know, there's just something nice about having that, like, that nostalgic experience of, you know, like a little area that you can slow down in the middle of the park because that park is all go, go, go and so kinetic energy. But, you know, I will still keep going because I love those parks. But definitely sad to be losing an open day attraction like that. But Muppet Vision, I really hope they find a way to bring it back over in the other side of the park when they do put in the Electric Mayhem coaster. But oh, the rain passed around you? Well, around us at the station, it didn't do that. We got poured on today. Okay. There we go. Yeah, we've had like 3 or 4 passing storms today. Like, it'll rain for like 20 minutes super heavy, and then it comes back and, you know, rains for 20 minutes, and it's sunny again for a bit, and then, you know, it just kind of goes from there. Let's see, will this piece fit? It's a little short. Do I have anything that's longer than it? Yes, I do. Will that fit? It's a little long, but it'll work. And if I flip it the other way, then I've got a nice flat end that I'm working with. So let's do that. Okay. Okay. That looks about to be where I need to go. Oh, all good, Eric. It's A-okay. It's like people actually have real-life jobs and real-life things that they are working on at their real-life work. Oh, perfect. I actually got to be the right thing. And welcome back, Dylan. Glad to have you here. And if you guys wouldn't mind, since you're hanging out here with me, if you want to give this stream a like, it does help with the YouTube algorithm for more people to discover what I'm up to. Granted, gluing boards to a board may not be the most exciting thing under the sun, but I do appreciate you guys tuning in to see what I'm up to. Thought that would have about spilled over me, but well, I appreciate that, Jonathan. Perfect. Thank you, Eric. Okay. So I need a few more pieces, and these all have to be longer, which means we're chopping up another long board to get to our next stop here. Okay. So the question becomes, I just go ahead and I had to do a sliver piece on the other side. But if I do what I think I'm going to do, it might work out. Yeah, it's like Legos, exactly. Yeah. And I will say I do appreciate, I know when we played some Derail Valley last night, a couple of you did super chat and donate a little bit. It definitely does help. And as I kind of talked about yesterday, funds are tight at the moment. So I haven't been doing a lot of my usual stuff. So all the stuff helps the cause of helping the Ragtimer. So thank you. One piece of grand building I'd like in my layout. There is an Ophir Depot kit, also from Banta Model Works, and it's expensive. It's $650, but I would love to get that and build the Ophir Depot on the layout. But I don't have the money for it, and I don't have a layout yet. So, I mean, I do, but I don't, but I do, but I don't. I do have an X-Acto knife. That way I can cut the little slivers and take care of other stuff as it goes. So, yeah, we'll get that on there. So, will Rule G be violated in this construction stream? I have no booze in my house right now. I only have some soda, so no Rule G violations tonight. And unfortunately, the closest place to get booze is like 20 minutes away. So, it's what it is. But yeah, no, the Rio Grande Ophir Depot would be freaking awesome to have on here. The other thing that would be really cool, there is, frankly, it's way too big for the layout, but there is a mill, like a mill, kind of like the one, if the Mayflower mill that's up in Idaho Springs, on the Colorado and Southern, aka the Colorado Central, the one that has the loop, the train that had the loop. Or the loop route. But there's a giant mill that would be awesome, but I think it's not the ideal setup for what I'm trying to do. It's a little big. It'd be cool, but okay. That might have been cut backwards, but it'll work. Yep, I also did bottle rockets with my dad growing up. That was a very good memory. And you just opened a memory hole there. Damn you. Let's put this up here. That way I've got the flat end. I think my dad still has some of that stuff. But he's away on vacation, so I can't ask him. Let's see if I cut the next board here kind of like this. And that'll get us a decent board to cut through. Yeah, there we go. That'll work just fine. Didn't know railroaders could survive without booze. I mean, we do. We can't drink on the job, so you know. And while I'm sure a cold one would go real well right now, I'm also not in the mood to drink. I've got enough on my plate. Because again, we're gonna build this for a bit, and then I have to head back inside to. I've got a show this week with my music group, and that show is going to require me to have to put all the music together for it. So that'll be what we do after this. Okay. Ooh, I can do that. That'd be cool. Use some scrap wood on top of here. And hello there, ZVK. That sounds pretty cool, me, Metalike. Okay, so there we go. And then if we do something like that to connect it, and again, there's that notch. I think that's it. Sometimes I can't really tell with this stuff. Boo, Eric, limes. Okay. Okay, let's see. Looks like I'm still going to need a shim on this side. But, that's part of the fun. Okay. Yeah, let's just keep using some of these scraps that I have. Because I think it's kind of cool. I mean, I also been talking with the guy who's designing the Roundhouse for me. I should have the Roundhouse potentially next week. Or not the Roundhouse, the turntable next week. So the turntable guy is working on stuff, and that should be shipping in the somewhat near future. He said he wanted it done by the 14th, because he has another thing he's doing afterwards. So, but I've already inquired with him on a few things that could be cool for the layout later on, like a sand house. Specifically the Chama one, that could be cool. Also a Rio Grande style water tank, also could be cool. So, and then a coal tower. But all of those are going to have to wait until the layout's physically up, because those will come pre-built. I'm doing the work to build this one because I wanted to, A, have the experience, and B, it's just something that, again, I've talked about it a lot. My great uncle did, and I want to try it myself. So that would be cool to have. I also am still keeping my eyes peeled for a Rio Grande live steam engine of one of the either the K28s, the 36s, or the 37s, but they seem to be harder to find than hen's teeth. So it's one of those things of, will I ever have one? Probably. When is that time? Not right now. Okay, let's see. I need this piece of scrap wood to go in. And what about a 27? I have a 27. I have it as a Bachmann engine, but I would love to get it as an AccuCraft at some point too. Like, I have 463 because 463, the Rio Grande engine, my grandfather and I rode behind that. not rode behind, but I have a good photo of him and I there with that at Osier, and it's one of my favorite pictures of him and I. So that is one of the things. The other part of it is also then, let me see if I can get this to balance the right way. That might do exactly what I needed to do. But I would love to have either 455, the Rio Grande Southern one, or 464. Even though I have never ridden behind 464, more like to say I have it than anything. Okay. Okay. I think that's long enough. Yeah, it should be. Because I would love to have a little bit of Rio Grande Southern on there too. And obviously the Ophir Depot is the obvious choice on that. But, you know, nothing too crazy. And that appears to be what I need. Does that actually fit perfectly? More or less. And again, these boards are not meant to be perfect, so let me see if I can just chop that off right up there. Perfect. What about RGS 42, 41, or 40? What about the 20? If there's an RGS model of the 20 in AccuCraft, if someone finds it, let me know. Not that I have the money to buy it, because I don't, but it would be cool, you know? Okay, let's see here. I think this is the other way. That'll work. It's a little loopy, but it'll work. You know, some of the other Rio Grande engines, like for example, like a C21, like, would it be cool to have? Yes. Do I have any attachment to one? No. Like, same sort of thing with some of the other engines. Like, I would like to maybe have like 346 or something on my layout, but I've never seen 346 operate. I've only seen it, you know, on display at the Colorado Railroad Museum. Like, the big things I want are the bigger engines, because that's what I have, you know, a model or a memory of. So, okay, that's sticking out a little far. Oh, this piece is warped. That's why. Well, there is a 346 in F scale. It's also made by AccuCraft. I think I'm going to get a little bit of this shaved off just to be a little bit easier to set here. I need a little bit more off this end. In fact, I'm just going to use the X-Acto knife to get just a hair, like a sliver, and I see where my sliver has to be. Just a little more. Yeah, but the problem is if you go for like a 346 or something in F scale, again, you're looking at like a $3,000 locomotive. And I do not have $3,000 to put on anything right now. Okay, is that close enough? That's better. I feel better about that. And that'll give me just a little bit more character in the wood too. Okay, let's put a notch up there. Also, did anyone else see the RGS charter that Lero Productions just announced on the Durango and Silverton? That looks awesome. I am very jealous. Would I like to go? Yes. Do I have the money to go? No. It's like $900 for 2 days. Could I probably go? Yes. Should I go? Maybe we'll do like a fundraising thing here. Send Ragtimer to Rio Grande Land for RGS days. Because I would love to do that. But I do not have the money. $900 is a lot to look at trains, but it's one of those like once in a lifetime events that like the cost might be justified just to sit like for the experience. Like, am I a professional photographer? No. But would it be cool to go and take photos of the thing? Hell yeah. Why is it $900? Because that's the price that Lero Productions is doing. It's only like 30 or 40 people that'll actually be on that train. So you're talking a small group of people who are either fairly serious photographers or just going along for the experience. And, you know, again, it's one of those things of, it's a once-in-a-lifetime sort of thing. Do you do it to say you went? I don't know. It is going to be expensive to run for them, so that's why it's also at the price it is, because the people who are organizing it need to make money, and the people who are running the railroad have to make something to keep their railroad running. So it's not cheap, I'll tell you that much. Okay, where the hell did that notch go? There it is. Okay. Man, we're starting to run lower on boards that are painted. Okay. Oh, that's not sticking well. Okay. I need to get a weight on there. So I need to get something heavy, which that means we're going to have to change our angle a little bit because that glue's coming up and it's not sitting the way it should. Okay, Clorox bottle will do the trick. And we're going to move you all to roughly here-ish. There you go. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Yeah, now that we actually have some weight on there, hopefully that'll not buckle like it kind of is. So this is my very professional way of making this work. So let's see. Keep on going. Yes, new angle. Fear the angle change. I don't know. It's okay, Midland. You can fight the change. I believe in you. Only you, though. How big is this roundhouse supposed to be? You can see... Let me get this here. This is the base. This is about 5-6 foot wide in the back. And about 4 foot deep. And the turntable's out, a few feet in front of that. So it's going to be a big one. And obviously, I've only put so much wood on this one side, so we might be here for a while. Okay. Back you go to your little place. Okay. Did I glue this piece? No, I didn't. So, and again, you guys on the YouTubes were the ones who helped fund this, so thank you. And if you want to help continue in the fund, if people either join as members on the channel or super chat or whatever, that all helps the cause. So thank you. Maybe at some point too, I know some people have asked privately if there's like a PayPal or something to help with getting this thing built because they want to see it built faster. Maybe I'll put that in at some point, but maybe not today. So, okay. I need more boards. So let's get more boards. Oh, these boards are definitely darker. They are a lot darker. Well, I can see where the different boards were. Yes, this program is sponsored by viewers like you. Thank you. Seriously, thank you. Why do I have a bottle of Clorox? Because I'm getting high off of it. No. It is a weight because there are a couple of boards specifically right next to me that it's buckling a bit because it's a very tight fit where the boards were coming off the glue. So that is my weight. Okay. What are we PXCK, hello. We're making the F-scale roundhouse. It's finally happening. Glad to have you here. So, again, this was funded by viewers like you. So thank you. So we've built the base, and we've started to build the walls. So now we're doing the wall construction in earnest, where we're putting the painted boards on. So we actually have our siding. F scale is bigger than G scale, yes. So this has been like my new favorite like random party fact. So G scale is sort of a misnomer. There is G gauge, which is 45 millimeters between the rails, which is essentially known as garden scale, so G scale. And within that, you have several different scales of track and or not track, but of locomotives, cars, etc. that you're representing. So with this, you have 1 to 32, which is some of like the MTH gauge 1 stuff. Then you have 1 to 29, 1 to 24, which is like your Aristocraft, your Delton, that sort of stuff. You have LGB, which is 1 to 22.5, aka German meter gauge. But then at some point in like the 80s, the American purists said, well, we're going to build, this is not quite American 3-foot. We're going to make our own scale with blackjack and hookers that will be representative of this. And they decided that 1 to 20.3 is the appropriate scale for 3-foot narrow gauge on 45 millimeter track. So that's what they're going to do. And that's what I'm building. So this is scaled to 1 to 22 point or 1 to 20.3. Add the window frames, and then the battens to the wall. Okay, the sashes will be added from the inside. Okay, just making sure I'm doing the right thing. You know, and is there a better gauge for anything? Well, it depends on what you're trying to model. You know, if you don't really care and you're trying to do more of just the generic garden stuff, LGB, Aristocrat, Dalton, doesn't matter. For me, I'm a bit of a purist, and everything I'm doing is, you know, is 1 to 20.3. So that means I'm focusing on like what Bachmann made. So Bachmann did 1 to 20.3. They still do. It's their Spectrum series for G scale. And then our AccuCraft is like the good shit. So I'm trying to collect AccuCraft stuff. Because that's the high quality, almost museum quality really, of F scale. And they have live steam and they have electric. So live steam is using alcohol or butane as your fuel source, and then you burn it, and you have a boiler, and you boil water, and steam choo-choo go puff-puff down track. So I have one live steam locomotive. I would love to have others eventually, but the prices on them are stupid. Like $4,000 to $5,000 an engine, stupid. There is a C18 model, the 315 to 318, that I would love to have either as a coal burner or as butane, but that's going to be a while before I can afford it. So, yeah, USA Trains is also in there. I forget what scale they are, but, you know, just like you have on like O scale or H scale, the bigger the equipment, the bigger radius your curves need to be. all of the curves on my track are going to be 10-foot diameter, so 5-foot radius. And that's the standard for like mid-size equipment. Like if I had bigger stuff, let's put it like this: if I wanted a big boy, I'd have to have like the 10-foot 10-foot radius curves because of how big the stupid sucker would be. And I don't want that. I don't need that. You know, every person has their own focus on their layout. My layout is the 20.3 American narrow gauge, which will get through those things just fine. I did find, and I think when we did that live stream of the stuff running downstairs, if the stuff is physically on an 8-foot radius, electric, it'll go fine, but it definitely works better with the wider stuff. AccuCraft is still around. They are only making limited stock because their heyday is not quite past, but they're still around. So they're making those C18s right now new. I don't know how many they did up front and how much is left, but you know, they're around. So are the live steamers at the scale electric actuated? No. Some of them are, you can put RC in the engines, but a lot of them have a throttle valve, and how much, you know, they could be finicky. Sometimes you can set and forget. Sometimes you have to like continually monitor them. So at least when we ran the few here in the driveway for that one video, it was very much a set and watch and monitor and intervene. You know. And Eric, yeah, they are definitely expensive. But, you know, it's the kind of engine that if you maintain it's going to run for 20 or 30 years. So, which for me could be quite a bit. Is AccuGraph still producing new stuff like Blackstone? Blackstone does like HON3, right? I think that's right. AccuCraft is F scale and 7/8 scale, which is like the 2-foot stuff that it's modeling. So, yeah, and Midley can attest to that. Okay, let's see. Come on. Blackstone is HON3 and is effectively dead. Well, that's sad to hear. But we have our memories. Well, I know like there's Scale Trains and there's a few other companies that are still around doing their thing, but they're not in the scales I'm interested in. I've always had an interest in garden railroading, but okay. So I'm sticking with F scale, and F scale is still around. And worst case, I just go to LGB or something. This X-Acto knife feels like it's getting looser. Yeah, I saw that line of plastic cars, Midland. So, again, I kind of wish I was in HON3 because the stuff's a lot cheaper. But still. And then there's also the 3D modeling world, which is still kind of a new horizon. Did I visit the Epcot Garden Railroad? Of course I visited the Epcot Garden Railroad. And I liked it quite a bit. They actually have some cog stuff on that railroad, which is kind of interesting. But, oh, geez. Building a cog or a kit plane in full scale. Jesus. Okay. So we're starting to approach the third of 4 windows. Yeah, and for those who might be watching who have any AccuCraft of a live steam K, I'm jealous of you. That's all I'll say. I would love to have a live steam either 480 or 487 if it exists. I think they made like 480, 483, 486, and 489. 487 is always the locomotive I always seem to end up behind on the Cumbers and Toltec. And it became like a running joke of, okay, I guess we'd go see 487 again. And sure enough, it'd be pulling our train. But even if I had to renumber it. Okay, let's get the notches in. I'm getting a lot of wood scraps. So, yeah, if I was smart, I would have stuck to the small stuff. And I have a bunch of O scale at my parents' place that I'm honestly considering selling at this point because I really don't need it. Or I don't use it, frankly. I guess that's the way I should put it. Like, if it was up here, I might run it, but again, I'm kind of committed to this Garden Railroad stuff now. So, we'll be sticking with that for a while, I think. Okay. So we're getting closer. There's little pockets of space between some of these boards, and it's giving me a little bit of anxiety. Like, I wish there was less, but I know that the battens are going to go on between them. So, yeah, some of the O-scale stuff's really expensive. Like, don't get me wrong, it's good quality, but it's still expensive. Yeah, let's do that, because then that'll fit better. Down to R. And then... Okay, cool. We've got my notches. Am I going to make things look like they were brand new or look like they're aged? So, as far as the equipment, I'm not going to weather the trains themselves, but all the buildings outside are going to look like how they're supposed to look, which would be probably a little weathered. Obviously, with this building, you can kind of see that the paint is not even. It's different shades of the brown, the boxcar red. So it kind of is what it is. But, it's going to naturally, just because of how it is, look aged and weathered. So, let's see. Let's still put that. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a tighter fit. Also, because I've never had experience weathering locomotives. So, as cool as that might be, I'd rather have the locomotives and whatever look newish. And I'm sure over time they will naturally weather and get that sort of patina on them. The live steam engine already has a bit of an oily patina look just because it literally is a live steam engine and it gets dirty. So, not much you can do about that. also keeping an eye on my battery on my phone because I'm starting to get low. So either we'll continue until the battery runs out or until about 7 p.m., whichever happens first. Because, again, I got a few other things I got to get done tonight. So, not that I don't love y'all, but I have other stuff I have to do too. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. There we go. You know, it's kind of almost a shame that this stuff's going to be outside, and I'm going to have to spray it with acrylic to make it a little bit tougher. But this is what I want. So, okay. Almost to the next wall. I guess next window. Might be able to fit more of a full piece in there. But we'll see as we get closer. I don't know what Mod Podge is, Eric, but basically I'm going to do like an acrylic spray on the on this, which will then like harden the outside and make it more weather tight. Worst case, I'll just bring it inside and outside if I need to. But the stuff I'm building, I'm trying to make like almost industrial grade. And maybe it's foolish for me to think that, but I'm going to do think that anyways, so. Okay. Okay. So the question is, how wide of a piece can I put in here? And the answer is, I will have to trim one down. But I might have some thinner ones that'll work that I can always shim in if I need to. That's not wide enough. I think I'm going to have to get a bigger piece and then trim it a little bit. Okay. Okay, so here's what I'm going to have to do. I think I've got a pencil that I can then, if it's in, more or less line up with that. There's my cut line. And I will trim this down to fit around the board. And pray that it works. So I don't know how much scrappage I'll get out of this. Let's see. Careful, SpongeBob. Careful, SpongeBob! Careful, SpongeBob! Okay, Where's the... It's right there at the corner. He's at the intersection of conch and coral. That's where I am. Okay. Okay, I need a little bit more taken out of that piece, and I see where my line is that I could have shaved off just a hair more in some cases. In fact, what I'm going to do, yeah, I've still got like less than a millimeter on this spot. It's not enough weight. Wait, hold on. I'm missing a piece now. Oh, wait, no, I'm just an idiot. Never mind. We're good. Okay. I'm going to get just a hair more shaved off just so that way it's a little bit tighter of a fit. In fact, I almost wonder if it might behoove me just do this. That seems to be doing the trick. Okay. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, let's test fit it one more time. And it'll go in. And it will... Is that fully in? Yes, it'll... let's trim it just a hair more. Just a hair more. Okay, that fits perfectly. That'll do, and it's not borking the board. So... Bork board. Bork board. It's borking the board. Ah. Okay. Okay. Now is the winter of our discontent. Oh, shoot, come on. Okay. Okay. That's lined up. Let's get the window in. Okay. Dang it, Bobby. Tell you what. Come on, get in. Oh, come on, you schnauzer. There he goes. Yeah, Railroad Museum in Pennsylvania is finally building that roundhouse they've been talking about for, like, forever. That's kind of cool. Okay. So the question becomes now, do I probably should find some short boards and just kind of make them work. But short boards may... Oh, we're having the same problem over here. That it's a little bit of a tight squeeze and these boards don't want to play nice. So let's see if I've got a few more clips. And I do. Okay. And then we'll get a few clamps on the other side. Okay. There we go. And what length scraps do I have? Are they going to be big enough for what we're trying to do? And the answer is probably no, because all the scraps I have at this point are really small. So we'll more or less just start with one piece and start trimming then. Also, the light outside just got significantly brighter, so I may have a little bit of a tougher time seeing the screen. So just as a heads up for people, if you have a comment that you put in, I may not respond immediately because I can barely see it. What railroad am I modeling? It's a mixture of White Pass and Yukon and Denver and Rear Grand Western. Specifically, 4th Division, a.k.a. Alamosa to Durango, and then the Silverton branch. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, because worst case scenario, I can always trim these back if I need to. And the nice thing is this roundhouse could work either for White Pass's Skagway shop or the Durango or Chama roundhouses. So even though it's the Sergeant's model, it's still a Dergwa roundhouse. And at the end of the day, a roundhouse is a roundhouse. And if you look, there's a really great website that does White Pass and Yukon things on there. I forget, it's like whitepassfan.net. they're going to have a lot of models and pictures of the Roundhouse in that used to be in Skagway and a bunch of other shit. So, okay. Let's see. Let me file this end down just a hair. Just so it goes up a little flatter. There we go. Yes, at the end of the day, it's a roundhouse that houses locomotives of my choosing. I kind of hope that General gets RC for his live steam engines, because I honestly think it would be cool as shit to keep like your fleet of live steam engines in this roundhouse. Well, how big were the roundhouses? Skagway's was stupid huge. Like, it was like 12 or 14 stalls. The Alamosa one was also large. The Chama one was like 4 stalls, like maybe 4 or 5. Okay, now the flies have found me again. Shoot. Midland, if you can fact check how big the the roundhouses were on both the White Pass and Durango, that would be awesome sauce. Okay. I may need another clip just to hold. There's one piece that has like no support underneath the windowsill, and it's kind of a stupid design. I'm going to be fully blunt, but that'll make it a little bit more even as it dries. I think that's the notch. Yeah, that's the notch. White Pass one was huge, might have full circle around the turntable. So what we're hearing is Heist was wrong in that video, that there was an example of one that went all the way around. Haha! Okay. And then we have one more to go, and it's more or less... That one might need to be filed down just a hair. Maybe I'll make a little notch here. You know, I have a square downstairs I probably should have used for this, but... Oh well. Brain is dealing with multiple things. It's okay. I didn't know if you were up to nothing or up to something, Midland, so I figured you'd be the one person I know who would know. Let's see. Still a little wide, but I think we'll make it work. So I can just file that down just a hair. So. That looks better. Okay. Cool. Okay, we have a few more pieces we need on top, and we're going to need to get another piece of board for that. That was an angry bee. Okay. 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 File that just a hair. And I'm using like literally like nail files. Like one is 100 grit, one's 180 grit. Just a few passes, and that should be good. Okay. Next piece. Okay. And my phone is about to die. So we'll probably finish up the pieces we're working on here and probably call it there because, again, my phone will die so you can't see what I'm doing. Okay. Cool. The dogs are out. Who let the dogs out? Who? And again, I appreciate you guys just checking in, kind of seeing what we're up to here with the Garden Railroad construction. Again, it's not flashy like track or anything or running trains, but hey, we're getting buildings done. And we've made quite a bit of progress. Let me turn a little bit better so you can actually see a little bit more. So, there's that. Let's see here. I might trim this end just since that's square. Yeah, that's actually pretty close. Okay. Yep. Okay. Had to move my drink. My Diet Dr. Kelp? Why did you do it with my drink? No. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. Okay, one more. One more, and I think we might call it for today. Because again, I have like 5% left on my camera. My phone. My phone that happens to also have a camera on it. Yeah. That's close enough. There's a little spot between the window. It'll hold. It'll live. I need another clip there. Damn it. The fucking thing. Okay. And again, thank you guys for tuning in. If you like watching this stuff or just want to help support the Ragtimer, do consider just liking the stream, subscribing if you're new, and if you really like it, consider becoming a channel member or super chatting or whatever. But I ain't forcing you to do anything, but it does help me out. So thank you. All right. What the fuck was that? Oh, that's just over there. We're good. Thought it was ghosts. Okay. Alrighty. So with this final piece on, let's show you. Oh god, this thing's red hot. So this is what we did. So we now are at the end of wall 3 or window 3. Everything else is on and holding. So voila. So probably tomorrow we'll finish up the last wall and get over here. But I'm going to go inside before my phone dies. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys. Bye.